So we're gonna go live. This must be live. Starting stream health. Receiving out audience. We'll see in a moment. Get ready. Yeah, I think yeah, it's getting ready now. Okay, can totally see you now. To stop, use the encoder. Okay, bonjour, mesdames et messieurs, and welcome to Los Angeles, California. I know it's 12 o'clock here in Los Angeles. It's 3 in on the East Coast, and it's 9 o'clock in Europe. I'm trying to do every Friday this kind of live shows on my YouTube channel, so you can join me live and ask me questions that. It's kind of cool, I think, to be able to talk with people and talk about photography. So people are starting to get. Before I get into the questions, I already have some questions prepared that I got on my social network. I'm waiting for people to, start coming. If you can share this on your social media, that'd be great, so that your friends can join us. If you've got photographer friends, that can come along, that'd be really nice. Hello from Dubai. Bonjour, team. Oh, it's 8 o'clock in the UK. Team Talk says it's 8 o'clock in United Kingdom. That's right. It's 9 o'clock in Paris, but 8 o'clock in London. Uh, hello from Silurian from Southgate, California. Hello, Live Bo Geisler from Denmark. Greg Facer from Sydney, Australia. I think this is so funny to have all these people from all over the world connect, on technology like this. It's really cool. Oh, it's uh, sorry, somebody said it's midnight in Dubai. Bonjour, Daniel Maurice from Germany. Bonjour, Eduardo Silva from Venezuela. Bonjour, Médéric from France. Bonjour, Monsieur Hudson-Berger from Montreal. And Costa Rica, USA. Wow. All right, so I wanted to talk to you about Christmas ideas, Black Friday. Today is Black Friday. Oh, my streamed health is not that awesome. Let me see here. Yeah, well, I'm on a strong internet. It should be good. I hope you guys can hear me. Bonjour, Emric from Los Angeles, California. My friend Emric, which I'm doing a time-lapse master course with. We are recording these days. Can you hear me okay? Is the sound and video okay? Looks good here. Emric, tell me if can you hear me from Los Angeles, California? Gert Sterner from Denmark. Bonjour, Desio Belgique. Salut Serge, I learned Lightroom from you. Thank you so much. Bonjour. Wow, a lot of people are coming up. Yeah, so well, first I want to talk to you about what I'm doing. Right now I'm working with Emric Lebar. He's a time lapse photographer, a really good one that lives in Los Angeles. He's French, and then he showed me his workflow doing time lapse. So we are redoing the time lapse masterclass. And for example, we're gonna rent an RV truck and we're gonna go to the desert on Monday night because it's a new moon, Monday and Tuesday night in Joshua Tree Park, and we're gonna do the Milky Way stars moving with time lapse. I'm really excited to doing that because every time I went in a desert, I was in a hotel that's like an hour away. This time we decided we were gonna camp and take the sunrise, like stay up all night doing time lapse, do sunrise, and for 2 days during the new moon. I'm really excited about that. I love more and more to do astrophotography, and the good thing about the Sony have really good low ISO feature, so I can get really good astrophotography at like 15 seconds, which I really like, and so I'm really excited about that. Anyways. Well, because of you, I started making money in photography. Thank you. Well, I'm happy for you, Mr. Daniel Morris, that you started making money. I have more and more people telling me that they start making a good living with photography, like either in real estate or things like this, which is really nice. Like the only thing that I want for people is to be able to live off their passion. It's my only regret in life is that I did not start to work on my passion earlier. If I had known that it was going to work and be so successful, I mean, not to brag, but I'm really happy with my life today. I would not have waited for the age of 40 to start doing it. I would have started in my 20s. So if you're in your 20s and you're passionate about something, don't make the same mistake than me. Go for it now, because time flies like this. And then, now you are 40, you are 50, you're like, what did I do with my life? I didn't do what I really wanted to do. No, don't live a life of regrets. Do it right away. Oh, somebody says the audio is bad. I'm sorry. It could be your setup. You know, sometimes this Google Live thing works great for some people and not for some. I'm sorry about that. I have pretty good headphones that should work pretty well. Bonjour Marcel Côté. So a lot of people are joining. I'm happy about that. So, yeah. So I've been working a lot on. I'm working a lot on time lapse these days, and then for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be going. I'm going to spend 3 days in Death Valley doing photos, and then I'm going to go 3 days in Bryce Canyon, and then 3 days in Zion Canyon, and then 3 days in Page, Arizona, doing, you know, the antelopes again. That I did only once. This time I'm going to do the photographic tour with the light of beam that I've always wanted to do. I'm going to do what they call the wave in Lac Powell. I'm going to do the horseshoe Grand Canyon again. I'm really excited about that. And then I'm going to go back and redo the Grand Canyon by the West Entry and then go back home to Los Angeles. So I'm going to be on the road for most of December taking photos in national parks. I'm so looking forward to that. I just love taking photos. And, you know, when I can go and do that all the time, I'm just the most happy man in the world. Anyways, Mohammed Hassan said, I'm an architect and love the Lightroom editing inspired from your techniques. Bought a couple of courses from you. Well, thank you for buying courses from me, and I'm happy that I could help. If you guys have any question, somebody has a question about please guide us for retouching black and white HDR photos. So when my workflow on doing it black and white HDR is I first do the HDR in Aurora, or I do in Photoshop, digital blending, and then I do my black and white conversion either in Lightroom or using Tonality Pro. But honestly, I do about half of the time just in Lightroom. I love doing black and white in Lightroom. And actually, if you have any question like this, you can just go on YouTube and type Serge Ramelli, like black and white. I recently did an episode about doing black and white where I really give you like a very simple workflow and give you some really cool presets to start with. But I would do the HDR first and the black and white afterwards. Somebody says, I'm looking to buying one of your courses. How long will they be at $50? Well, right now, they are a lot less than $50. Actually, let me show this to you. I want to talk to you about Black Friday. Today is Black Friday, so I'm going to do my own advertisement. You know that if you follow me, I do a daily newsletter, and I have promotions going on all the time. This is my marketing team that are handling it. You know, we think it's a good idea to give promotion, but today is very special. Today is the lowest price you can buy any course from me. And I want to show you something. So I'm going to shift screen here. I'm going to go here. Now, you must see me on the right monitor. And that's my website, photosearch.com. Now, today, because it's Black Friday, we have everything at 75% off. So actually, let me log out here so you can see what it looks like if you didn't purchase anything. I'm going to log out. Yeah. So, for example, Lightroom CC training, instead of $147, it's $36. A Photoshop photographer is $36. Now, by the way, you see the numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is my recommended sequence of study. If you want to be a professional photographer, a lot of people ask me, okay, what course should I do first? Well, my advice to you is you got to master Lightroom first. So that's the number one course I advise you. Then you got to master Photoshop. That's why I put it at number 2. Then I really advise you my workflow for cityscape, for landscape, HDR. Then we get into sky replacement, art of black and white, and then we get into specialized training, portrait composite, interior design, long exposure, time lapse. Photoshop 101 is a bit more advanced course on Photoshop, including masking and extraction. And the last course is Photographic Business Masterclass. And if you want to have, you can have all this. You can buy them either one by one. You can buy everything for $340. Now, today is a very special day. Now, if you bought any course from me, any course, if you log into my website, the complete pack, like I'll show you an example. I'm going to log in here. Oops. No, I can't. Oh, hold on. I cannot log in here. Let me just switch screen for a second. I want to show you something that's really cool. I'm going to log in. Just 1 second. And if you have bought any course from me ever, and you log into my website, so let me go back here, you're going to get a special price. For example, today, you can get if you already bought like a few courses from me, you can get all my courses for $1 or $2. That's if you had purchased like $100 or $200 worth of course. Basically, the website is going to study what you bought and is going to deduct that from the complete bag. So some people can have all my courses for $100 today if they bought a lot of things from me already. So yeah, just a little trick. Everything is 75% off for this weekend, Black Friday, and I hope you take advantage of it. I know I've been saying this a lot, but today is really the best day to buy any course from me. It will be the cheapest of the entire year. Is this today? There's never gets more cheaper than today. Voila. So that was a little talk, on my stuff. And let me see. Let me answer some questions here. I would love to see some videos on photographic painting and art, on photographic painting and artworks. Okay, I'm gonna add it. That's a good question. Actually, my mother is a painter, and sometimes I take photos of her painting, so maybe I can do a tutorial on that. That's a good idea. Are you going to do a workshop in London one day? No, I'm not, but I'm doing one in Venice and Rome. So if you go on my website, I'll show this to you right now. Let's talk about the workshop because a lot of people ask me on this. If you go to my website and you click here on workshops, you will see I have got 2 workshops. I got one from which is in a week in Italy from the 6th of March to the 12th of March. It's basically going to be 3 days in Venice and 3 days in Rome. And we have a special guide. We have Alex Medailly. Alex Medailly is probably one of the best black and white, super long exposure artists on this planet. And he's going to be our guide in Venice and Rome in a beautiful 4-star hotel. All the restaurants are included. You just need to fly over there. And then I have my Paris in spring. I already have people booking for it from the 8th of May to the 14th of May. Same thing. It's going to be this time. It's going to be new places. If you've come to the Paris in spring, we're doing some new things this year with a lot more of hidden location in Paris. So I'm not going to do London, but I'm doing Paris, Rome, and Venice. So come and join me and spend a week with me in Paris. All right, back here. Somebody said, thank you for helping me with property photography in Adobe Lightroom. My photos were just approved by Marriott for a hotel in Canada. Wow, I'm really happy, Mr. Tanner Goats, that you could sell some photos to the Marriott. That's really cool. That's really cool. Ken Young says, I've been following you for a while. I primarily do time-lapse photography. Oh, you're going to like the new course I'm doing with Emmerich. I feel like I make professional quality time-lapse, but I haven't figured out how to monetize them. Any suggestion? Yes, I do. Actually, Emmerich, maybe you want to jump in on this one. Emmerich, with a French photographer, he makes a good living with his time-lapse. And he sells them on Pond5, on Envido, on many, many websites. And on also Adobe Stocks. He sells them as stock photography. He's got like 400 time-lapse for sales on 4 or 5 different websites. And he makes a decent, good living out of it. That's how I got to know him. He's really good. Okay, any tips on easy screen calibration? So I'll be very honest with you on this. I used to calibrate my screens, but since I've been, and I was like years ago when I was using Windows, but since I'm on Mac, I just stopped it because I don't see really the difference, and I don't have like really bad. I mean, I'm not that color precise, but I would use a spider though. If you really feel you need to calibrate, you're not happy with the colors, I would use a spider to do it. But I have not done it in many years because I love my iMac. I just bought the new iMac 5K, and I love the colors. They seem to be the same on my iMac than my iPad Pro and on the printer. It all matches, so I'm happy. Okay, Marcel Cote says, regarding the long exposure star photo, I only have a crop sensor on my camera. How can I do a great focus in the dark when you don't have any reference points? Oh, so Emmerich showed me something that's really cool. When you focus, I don't know if you have, but if you have a live view on your camera, you focus to infinity, but infinity is not just one point. Infinity can be a lot of things. So you just turn it until you see that the stars are the smallest possible, either in your live with your eyes or on a live view. The stars must be the smallest possible, and usually they are sharp. And then, of course, take a few shot photos and just play around with your infinity until your photos are sharp. Charles Wilson says, I tried to use a previous promo code to get the advertised discount for $2.99. It kept coming up at $3.40, ready to buy if you can get the price you're promoting. Can you help? Okay, I don't know what's going on, but I will make sure that if you use the code Black Friday today, let me verify this, but today the code is Black Friday, and I will make sure that you get the package for $2.99 instead of $3.40 with that code. I'm going to call my guys and make sure that happens right after this live show here, because I cannot do it in the same time. Let me see what the code is. The code is BLK Friday. Let me write it for you. BLK Friday. If you type that, I will make sure you get the complete pack for $2.99. BLK Friday. BLK, like Black Friday, but without the C and the K. BLK Friday. But that, if it doesn't work now, it's going to work very soon. Okay. All right. Somebody asked me, Esta Javel asked me if I have tried Capture 9 Pro for Sony. Yes, I have. It looks good. People are saying, you will see it's amazing. The photos will look completely different. I did not see that. I tried on 15 different RAW files, Capture 9 versus Lightroom, and I could hardly tell the difference. I know Lightroom by heart, so I was like, why bother go and learn a new software? I'm sorry to say that. Maybe I'm missing out on something. Maybe I'm not. I'm so happy with Lightroom. Canon 5D Mark III, any tips with settings and sun? With the Canon 5D Mark III, I would really advise you, if you shoot any sun photos, to take bracket photos, -2, 0, and +2, and you either blend them in Photoshop or blend them in HDR or in Aura HDR, or if you don't have that, try Photomatics or HDR FX Pro. Or the best is really to do it in Photoshop if you want to go for a natural result. Canon, I love the colors of Canon. I think Canon's got the best colors. I love what it does for portraits, but I don't like the dynamic range of Canon. It's got too much noise in the shadows, so sometimes it's good to take different exposures and play around with and do digital blending. You can just go on YouTube and type Serge Ramelli digital blending. You'll see. I show you some Canon 5D Mark II shots and how I blend them, because I had the issue a lot with the Canon 5D Mark II. Somebody asked me what is the best wide angle for Nikon D700, D7100. I have no idea. I love the 1635, and I believe it exists for Nikon, but I don't even know if the Nikon D7100 is a full frame or a crop frame. I know nothing about Nikon. This is one brand, I know nothing. It's a funny story, actually. I got invited because I've got a big YouTube channel 2 months ago. Oh, when was it? Last year. Nikon called me up and they wanted me to speak at their annual Nikon meetings in Amsterdam. And but I never shot Nikon in my life, and so I answered, thank you for the invitation. They wanted to pay me, fly me over business class, talking to Nikon, and I just said, I never took a photo with a Nikon. Is that a problem? And they said, yes, it's a problem, and the whole thing got canceled. So I'm sorry, but if you work for Sony and you want me to speak about Sony, please send me an email and I will come and talk about Sony, no problem. Oh, Marcus. Bonjour, Marcus. No, if you guys don't know Marcus Sorin, he was one of my students. He's a doctor. He's so passionate about photography. You got to check out his website, Marcus Sorin Photography. If you Google it, you will find it. He is a doctor in Romania, and he does photo all the time. I don't think I've seen somebody more passionate than Marcus about photography. We have been talking for years now. He's an amazing man. Okay, so... Lens Sinclair. Bonjour, Lens Sinclair. I love your name. It reminds me, I had the Sinclair, was one of my first computer when I was, it was called the ZX Spectrum Sinclair in '84. I loved it. Oh, Frank de Jong said, just got a DSLR Canon 600D with one lens, 50mm 1.8, good lens. Still possible to do tsunami lensing photography, or do I need a wide lens? Of course you would need a wide lens, but there's one thing I love to do is go out just with a 50mm 1.8 and do panoramas, because they you know, let's say you see the Seine River and you have like a 1635 and you go very wide. I actually did an episode on this, and if you take a 50mm and take 3 photos instead of having one photo at 20, you will get a more natural result. It's more work because you have to do the panorama, but making the 50 meter a great landscape. But there are some occasions when you really need that 16-35. For example, I do a lot of astrophotography. I really want to get the mountains and the stars and the Milky Way. I need to go wide. I don't want to. I cannot really do panorama. I can, but it's. Anyways, to answer your question, the 50 mm can be a great landscape photography, a great lens, but you have to go panorama. All right. Would you suggest me to buy the Sony A7 up? Sorry, it goes so fast, the comments. With kit lens, or save up some more and go for the 7R and buy a cheaper Sigma lens, but get those extra megapixel? Well, it's a tricky question. The extra pixel is really good for cropping. Sometimes, I shoot very large, and having 46 million pixel, I can crop a lot. But honestly, with the Sony A7 II, I think, not the AR, but A7 II has 36 million pixel and it's much cheaper. I would go for this if you don't need the big. I do big print, so I need as much pixel. I mean, if Sony tomorrow comes with a Sony A9, which I've heard might be 70,000 pixel, 70 million, 70 million, I'm gonna buy it right away. Because I do a lot of big prints with yellow corner, and they need a lot of pixel. They're always unhappy with my photos because they think, oh, do you have more? Like, they have people shooting with medium format camera all the time. Steve James Martin says, would you recommend an ND filter for a trip to Venice? Oh, yes, sir. I would never go to Venice without an ND filter. Why? Because Venice is on water. There's water everywhere, and water looks so much better with an ND filter because it's flat, it flows, it's just much better. So yes, do not go. I forbid you to go to Venice without the ND filter. I'm just kidding. You do whatever you want, but I would definitely recommend it. I would recommend two. I would recommend a variable filter that I would use at night to just get that extra long exposure if you need to. And I would use an ND 1000 for the day if you have clouds. And you can do amazing black and white. I'm finishing a book on Venice right now, and half of my photos were taken in the afternoon with an ND filter as a long exposure and turned into black and white. So yes, I would. There are some personal questions I am not going to answer. I'm a young photographer, and I'm doing landscape photos of sunrise and sunset at the beach later today with a Sony A55. Any tips for great landscape? Well, if you do sunrise and with an A55, I would really do some bracketing. I don't know if you can do automatic bracketing with Sony A55. I don't know the camera, but if you cannot, just take different exposures. Change your speed. Make one photo that's very sort of bright for your shadows, and one very dark for your sky, and then just Google Serge Ramelli digital blending, and I'll show you how to blend them. Caleb Rain says, I've used the Sigma 20mm 1.4. Have you used? I actually have. And would you recommend for landscape photography? Absolutely, yes. I would recommend it because I would. I used it, and it's great. I'm in love with the 16-35, and I am lazy about gear. I have got lots of lenses I'm not using anymore. Right now, I'm shooting mainly with the 16-35 and 22-40 from Sony, and the 70 and the 85 1.4 for portrait. That's about it. Hi, Serge. Greg from Edinburgh. Here, I find it hard to get inspiration from images other than sunrise, sunset, and dusk. How do you overcome this? Black and white is the answer. If you live in Edinburgh, then you have clouds, because Europe is full of clouds and bad weather. And bad weather, you can make amazing fun art black and white all day long if you put an ND filter. If I would go to Edinburgh, I would go with an ND filter, and 80% of my photos would be black and white. Unfortunately, that's how it is. In Los Angeles, there is very little clouds and a lot of sunrise and sunset, so I don't do black and white in Los Angeles. But when I go to places where there is clouds, I do more black and white. Clouds, for me, go with black and white. Would you recommend any filters for nighttime cityscape? Actually, no. I would recommend you to not have any filters. I think what I would one thing that's I'll tell you a story on this. What is very important for night photography is having a good glass. For example, you know how I love the Canon lens. They're very cheap, but they're not good for night photography at all. Lenses for night photography needs to have a special coating on it so that there is no glare. That coating costs a lot of money. So only the high-end lenses have that. For example, when I bought my first Canon EOS 350, I had the 1655 on. That was a lens of 1650. It was awful with the CD lamps, like I would get so much glares from it. And then I bought the 1740 from Canon, and the photos at night looked really better. So this is a time when you need to have a good lens, is when you do like cityscape photography, because of the street lamps. They create a lot of glare on your glass, so you need that special coating. And usually all the brands, only the high end, have that special coating. Yeah, so Jens Vilman says, unless it's a solid overcast like in winter. And you're right, but you will be surprised, even when you have a white sky, sometimes when you do long exposure, it still makes trace of clouds. I was surprised if you underexpose a little bit. So if you really close your shutter, you put an ND1000, and let's say the proper exposure would be 5 minutes, and you do 4 minutes, you'll be surprised that even with a white sky, you can get some really nice clouds. The Canon F14 2.8, is it good for night photography, Serge? Absolutely. That's a great lens. It's got that special coating. It's perfect for night photography. What is the top 3 lenses for the Leica M? I don't know, but I would ask my friend Torsten Overgaard. I don't know if you know Torsten. He's a good friend of mine. He is an expert in Leica. And if you Google Torsten Leica, you will get the answer. What is the top 3 lenses for the Leica? He's the guy I go to when I have a Leica question. HDR photo tips for sunset. Well, HDR, do good bracketing. Oh yeah, I'll give you one tip. When you do HDR of sunset, even so you do bracketing, I would underexpose all 3 photos. So basically what you do is you take a normal exposure, then you do a little exposure compensation, and then you do your bracketing -2. So basically on your exposure, it's going to be -3, -1, +1. I don't know if you get what I mean. So because I find that you get better sunset photos when you do that. How do you clean your lenses? Well, you have, when I buy lenses, I have this special cloth that are very soft. That's how I clean them. Hello, Luis Vasconcelos. Greetings from Portugal. Bonjour, Luis. Did you already try the new Olympus OM-DEM1 Mark II? No, but I hear it's really good. I have a friend that has it. I hear it's very good. That's the problem. I'm so happy with my Sony, and I don't do a lot of product reviews. That's not my thing. My thing is more HDR, landscape, cityscape, Okay, any tips on pricing digital files to sell to clients? Okay, well, I can give you something. Very often I have like real estate agency asking me for photos, can I use your photo for, my website? My regular price is $250 for one photo. That's my regular price. But sometimes they say, we want to buy 10, and then I make a special price, like $100 the photo. Usually when it's small companies, I'm very nice to them, and I'm like, okay, whatever, And sometimes I even give it for free. I just got contacted last week from a company called Brave. They are making a new web browser, and they're going to put a link with my website. In this case, I know they have a lot of traffic. If you have websites that have lots of traffic and they are willing to put a link to your website, go for free. It's going to help you SEO. It's going to help your sales. But if it's a small company, I usually go. I never go under $100. I mean, unless it's a friend where I give it for free. Yeah, I'm doing a book signing, by the way, in Long Beach, in Yellow Corner, Long Beach, Saturday, the 3rd of December. So if you're in South California and if you want to check Long Beach, beautiful place to take photos, there is a Yellow Corner. That's the only one that's in the south of. If you go to yellowcorner.com, you'll get the address. It's the only Yellow Corner in all of California, so it's pretty easy to find. It's in Long Beach, and I will be there next Saturday to do book signing. So if you're around, come and say hi. Let's take photos together. Let's book sign. Let's take photos. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, and Emmerich says, let's do a time-lapse Q&A sometimes. Yeah, we'll do that once we finish together the time-lapse masterclass close with the great Emmerich time-lapse. You got to check out his time-lapse. Go to his website. It's amazing. Emmerich time-lapse. Can you put your link on the comments, Emmerich? Tim Tog asks, how did you get into photography? Oh, that's something I've been answering over and over. But basically, I went from like one day to another into photography. I've wanted to be an artist all my life. I was frustrated of not being an artist. I was a salesman. I felt my life was empty. I kind of like my job. I was a salesman. I was doing really well financially. It was really nice. Big house. 3 cars, 4 kids. Selling. But I wanted to be an artist. And one day I was on holidays with Kelvin Pimon, who is now my business partner, and he was a designer, and he showed me Photoshop. He did a Photoshop demonstration. I remember he took a photo of a friend and he turned it into a magazine cover, and it hit me. It hit me hard that one software and one camera, you can do art. It's easier than painting. It's easier than movie making. Anybody can do it. One camera, and you can just go and do it. I love that so much. So I just went crazy. I came back from holidays. I knew nothing of Paramount. That was, I want to say, July 2004. And I bought all the books I could find on photography, all the books I could find on Photoshop, and I started learning. And 6 years later, I was a professional, and it was my main income. So that's how it happened. Is real estate photography a good way to make money? Yes, it is. I give you 2 examples. I got 2 friends that got into real estate photography in the USA. One is in Florida, one is in California. They make, both of them, quite easily $10,000 per month. So if you think that's good money, and I was about making that when I was in Paris. So, if you're good, so I'll give you a trick that doesn't work at all in Europe, but it's really good here in the USA. In Europe, I think you, as a real estate photographer, you will make more money with hotels. Why? Because in Europe, 80% of the hotels are privately owned. It's one guy that owns one hotels for 40 rooms. There's a lot of small hotels. Here in the US, it's franchise. It's big hotels, Holiday Inn. It's like to speak to somebody who has power, you have to go up in management. It's hard to get somebody who is like a decision maker. However, you have something that's amazing in the USA for real estate, and it's real estate agents with openings, the house openings. If you go, for example, on a website like trulia.com and you look in your area, all the openings there is, and you go there with an iPad, you will meet the real estate agent. Says, look, this is what I do. This is I have the best camera, the latest Lightroom and Photoshop tricks. I can make awesome real estate photos for you. Alex Zaho, who is a good friend of mine, did this in Los Angeles. He was just going to open house. I forgot the name. Open house, and talk to real estate agent. And in 6 months, he was making over $10,000 per month. And he just had a Canon T2i. He just got into real estate photography. It was crazy. Okay, trying to add something to my basket and it won't let me. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I hope the website is not breaking up because so many orders. I'll make sure the website works for Mr. Salford Nurse. Yes, maybe you can try a different browser. If you're on Chrome, go on Firefox or Safari. Sometimes that's the issue. It seems to be working because sales have been pretty good today, Black Friday. I've been waiting. I feel like the sales were very bad for my tutorial all months, but today it's exceptional because it's the cheapest of the year. So everybody's buying tutorials today. It's crazy. Anyways. All right, guys. So the half an hour is up. I want to say thank you for being there. I hope I answered a few questions. And I know I said it before, but it's Black Friday. Check it out. If you are in Los Angeles, in South California, come and see me next week in Long Beach, Yellow Corner Gallery in Long Beach. I will be there to do book signing. Come and say hello. I would love to meet you. And if you want to come with me to Paris or Venice, check out my workshop on my website. I'd love to spend a week with you and do some photos in some of the nicest cities in the world. Mesdames et messieurs, I will see you Tuesday morning for my next tutorial. Au revoir.